the environment, the universe. And if it was my job to protect it, would you trust me? But I could. And I could do a better job than the EPA if I fired every scientist there. That's right. If they appointed me head of the EPA, I could fire every scientist there and do a better job. And I'll tell you how. I would tackle first the 5 biggest threats to the environment. Now, before I go any further, I want to give the good news to you ladies. You don't have to go to the sex shop anymore to get a plastic toy, because we now have plastic in ours. Isn't that great? Now, how much worse does it have to get? I have here a handful of milliplastic. It came from this, which was some sort of plastic bowl or something, and you can see it just crunches up, and then look at the dust. See the dust in there? And that becomes microplastic very quickly. And after that, nanoplastic, where it's down to the molecular level. Isn't that terrible? And guess what? The wind takes it. Look at that dust. The wind takes it, then it's airborne. Isn't that great? Then you got to breathe it. Bucket to dust in one hand. Microplastic. You can see it glinting off there. And if really some of the smaller things, you'd have to have a microscope to see them. But they get a lot smaller than that. In the air, in the water, everywhere. They're in the food chain. This is disaster. Now, I wanted you to actually see it. And this happens especially to plastic bags, both in dry areas where they dry up like this did in Las Vegas in the sun, or on seashores where they get beaten into dust, also with plenty of sun. And then they go right into the air and into the clouds, and they rain down on all the land. So there you have it, and I'm going to talk about what to do about it. Well, there's something you can do about it, and you should. Well, you can't do it, and I can't do it. That is, choke the supply off at the source. We have to stop manufacturing the stuff. Cars, too, they make them out of plastic, and not only can't they be repaired, they can't be recycled. And that's the first thing I would do. I would ban plastic because it's not recyclable. Now, when I say it's not recyclable, let me expand on that. If human nature does not allow something to be recycled, then it is not recyclable no matter what technology exists. This one affects us all so much. Tires. Well, what about tires? We need tires. Yes, we do need tires. But the stuff they're using to keep tires from cracking, I believe it's phthalates is the problem. Well, they leak into every river and stream and waterway in America, and they poison the fish. So now we have fish that can't spawn because the males aren't forming properly. We're getting hermaphrodite fish. We get females and hermaphrodites, and they can't spawn, so they're going extinct. Now, if that's happening to the fish, do you seriously think it has no effect on humans? The main thing we're killing is ourselves. But we kill ourselves other ways too. You wouldn't be able to buy air freshener anymore. Not with me as EPA chief. Anything you put in the air, I'm talking Gain Sentis, Febreze, they're not only obtrusive, they're toxic. And we don't need extra cases of weird diseases down the line. And they're coming. Not only that, air fresheners, colognes, and perfumes. And by the way, you didn't know, in Beverly Hills there's a law against excessive perfumes and colognes because people were dying in the elevators. And those artificial scents they make for you, you don't know what's in them. I don't know what's in them. There are thousands of ingredients that we don't know about. And as EPA director, I would institute the precautionary approach where a compound you're wishing to use must be proven safe before disseminating against the public for a gigantic biology experiment on our population. Now, people say they don't like global warming. I'm with you. Do you know how to stop global warming? I'm going to tell you how. You remember 9/11, terrorist attacks, and they stopped all the air travel. Guess what happened for that week? Temperature dropped worldwide by 1.5 degrees centigrade. The problem with air pollution from jets is that it's up too high. It's water vapor, but it's so high up, there isn't much of anything up there, so little is a lot. So what we need to do is change our air travel. We need efforts from not only the airplane makers, but the Teslas of the world to make an electric booster that would only work for 10 minutes and then fly home, that would get an airplane up to its cruising altitude. From there, well, we hope it can go electric, but for longer flights that can't go electric, first you get them to cruising altitude, and then we use compound piston engines, which were developed a long time ago, compound thrust. This is the most efficient kind of airplane engine. You need to be able to fly over the Rockies, and it's much safer, because if a window breaks, people don't die. So there you have it. We're saving money firing all those scientists at the EPA and doing more than they will in the next 5 years. But I wouldn't fire every scientist. I would form a world-class chemical testing facility. The farmers are complaining, the soybean farmers, they're unable to export because of tariffs and all that stuff. Well, guess what? We don't need soybean farms. They do not help America. We need organic farms. We need to turn away from poisons. And as your new EPA chief, I would ban the use of all pesticides and herbicides. Now, because of that, crop yields will go down. It's going to take a lot more acreage to support America. We don't have any extra land for exporting soybeans where we get the toxins and they get the products. So, you unpatriotic exporter farmers, you obviously need direction to grow crops that America needs. And we need more organic crops. After we ban pesticides and herbicides, we're going to have to concentrate on feeding our people.